Hi. How is it going, person viewing this through their computer or whatever the fuck? I'm gonna speak as if I'm speaking to a singular entity. I'm gonna do my best. I've been realizing that, like, yeah, I would say, like, y'all and shit like that. Don't you know? I'm trying to do my best to reframe my speech so that it doesn't facilitate any negative patterns. If that makes sense. Because they could be tricky to catch. And, and like that. And yeah, and I've been trying to essentially figure out which one's the real me. Yeah. First of all, because it's been unbelievably difficult trying to figure out which one's the real me and whether or not it's like some other presence in my head. Because like a whole bunch of the familiarity that I had with myself, like my memory is always so foggy, and like my thinking ain't always so rational lately. It's very heavily distorted by emotion, which, given the current circumstances, I find to be pretty understandable. Like, yeah, trauma does that, but so we've been doing our best under the circumstances, okay? But yeah, I say we're piling it up now, like fucking hey, man. Like, come on. So, and yeah. So I'm trying to find the real me underneath this torrential, shifty sea. And as soon as I said that, of course, I remember this one, I guess, the citation, I guess, fucking quote from the, what was it, the Upanishads? I think it was the Upanishads and not the Gita, but yeah, the Bhagavad Gita. And it was several, but yeah, and it was like, I lost my train of thought, but like, so, also, which chakra does this correlate to, huh? Yeah, and yeah. It was something like, oh yeah, there's no one true individual self. Like, yeah, there's a true self, but there's no true separate self. There is no true separate self. If you're looking for the one true separate you won't find it. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's real, or I guess it's the other way around. It exists, but it's not real. Like how colors exist, but aren't real. It's the same, I guess. Right? Same is true for any idea of a individual separate self. There's no real individual separate self. So if you're looking for the real separate you won't find it. You won't find it. However, if you're looking for real you is the consciousness. Real you is it. Real you is the consciousness. Okay? The rest is patterns. The rest is, it's like computer code. Okay? It's computer code. It's not the person. It's not the life. The life in us is that consciousness. It's that spirit. It's the life. And remember, life is not on the polarity, the dichotomy, the duality of birth and death. Life is transcendent of the duality of birth and death. Life is what we call the yin-yang of birth and death together. Okay? So, okay. So today, as I say all these things in an attempt to try and find me, and without me getting fucking pile drived out of my head, fucking, do y'all see that dip? Like, yeah, and, hi, like, yo, dude, okay, you wanna fucking watch it? Like, watch it. Yeah, dude, I'm trying to talk here, get the heck out of my head. Just me, myself, and I. That's all I want to fucking. Yeah. I guess if someone wants to fucking come on in, I guess. No thank you, to be honest. Like, this keeps happening, and I keep trying to, like, actually describe my experience from my perspective. Yeah? And every time I do, bro, there's something that comes in, fucking aggressively fucking punches my fucking face through and snatches my perception out my head and then starts talking through my mouth. And it's like, I don't even notice when this happens. It happens so quickly. And before I know it, I'm like crumpled up into a ball and getting sent through an umbilical cord. So it's like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way to stop that from happening. Okay? Because I don't want that to happen. If like other things want to come through me and talk, this one thing is another thing. Is another thing. If I have to get like stamped down for that to happen, I ain't about that. Don't you know? Okay. And yeah. So today I'm making this one. This is my second video today. The one that I posted about the Bartle loop, that was yesterday. I forgot to upload it. And yeah, today I'm making this one. Oh, as I get my perception back in my head. Do I seem crazy yet? The fucking how y'all doing? So, how we doing? How we doing? Okay. Yeah, I'm making this video today to essentially like outline my narrative that I've been telling myself about what's been going on and to see how rational it sounds. Like from a broader perspective. Not just like the last couple days. But like my narrative for the last for the nature of my suffering. My narrative for the nature and the root of my suffering, which currently I have a conception of. And I don't know how accurate it is. I really don't. But I do know that if I continue to ride off of that narrative without ever thinking about it, checking up on it, seeing if I still believe it, and if I'm still acting as if I believe it despite any evidence that I might have, right. See, like we can lose track of this. And a lot of the time I wasn't even like checking up on this narrative and like seeing why I believe it. And like I would be in a fragmented way. That's the problem, right? I'd be able to like see bits of my understanding of my own reality in pieces. Like a mirror that I gotten shattered. Or for example, if the soul is the moon that reflects the light of spirit, if it's a mirror for your light, for spirit's light, your capacity to self-reflect. Yeah, my mirror has been broken into a million pieces lately. And so it's been quite difficult for me to see the coherent image of my self-reflection and to be able to properly be self-aware and to be able to understand my understandings. Like to understand the conclusions that I've come to about my, like what they are exactly. I haven't really been able to think about them much either. It's like, it's mostly just digging through like energetic twists and emotion and shit. And like trying to get my way back to my head. It's been mostly that. And very little time to actually like assess what I believe without feeling like I'm getting coerced to believe one thing or another. It's like trying to figure out what I think. Not what other people think about me. Not what other people say I am. Not what other people feel about me. How I feel. Where I'm at. And yeah. Me, this person. Just this person, dude. Just this human being. Where I'm at. All the way down here. Not where anybody else is at. I'm at. And yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. And so, fuck it. Yo. Fuck it. Yeah, I love you. God. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, this narrative, right? This narrative. My story, I guess. Or I guess more like I'd like to be able to give the objective version of it. So like without conclusions, the objective narrative would be a narrative given without coming to any value, judgment, or conclusion about the observations and the experiences. The subjective narrative is the one that says, like, this happened, which sucked, so I had to do this, and it was really hard, and like, yeah, shit like that, bro. I love the word choice, bro. Like, I love the word choice. Yeah, thanks, presidents, for speaking through my face. Thanks, dog. Hey, yo. Pat yourself on the back there, son. You're doing a great job there, bud. Again. So, yeah. Y'all want to hear the story? Huh? Yo, you want to hear the fucking story, dude? Alright. So, yeah. Okay. So, how I understand this, I'm trying to get my fucking feelings. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. The way that I currently understand, like, kind of the transpirings of what has happened, it's like, the reason that I feel so conflicted about it is because I feel like I must be responsible, essentially, for what's happened to me. And I don't just mean, like, in a way where, like, because I put myself in the situation. But yeah, I can accept responsibility for that, for sure. And for ignoring the signs from my body. And all the things that my body was telling me about why I shouldn't. And, like, why I should, like, make it a priority to, you know, like, find a different place to live and to not move home. Like, yeah. Like, make it a priority to focus on, like, either being able to, well, yeah, that was out of the picture. Yeah. Unfortunately. And yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't in the cards to be able to stay at Kent. It wasn't in the cards. And so I had to find a new place to live at the end of my lease. And I didn't have any money built up. I didn't have any money. I had used up all of my savings. I had blown it on a bunch of dumb shit. And also, like, rent for those months that I wasn't working until my parents helped me out, which I am grateful for. Make no mistake, I'm grateful for the support that they have given me. Even if it's not in the ways that I feel like I need. People are imperfect. And so, like, yeah, they gave me a place to stay. And they helped pay for my rent. Even though, like, if I listen to the narrative that I'm saying, like, the only reason they would have agreed to pay for my rent like that is essentially to, like, get me complacent, not moving, you know, not, like, acting, and not, like, doing things for myself, like, to get me complacent with stationariness, and, like, yeah. And, like, it kind of, like, led to a progressive breakdown that essentially buttered me up for the main course, which, like, I was like, I was like still being a delivery driver, dude, except I was the fucking Chick-fil-A sandwich. Fucking, and I fucking brought myself fucking back here for them to, like, so, like, it does seem like it was a bit, but hey, they say to never, like, assume, like, malice where ignorance could take its place. They say to do that. And people love at their level of consciousness and all this. And it's like, I don't have perfect love. And I know that other people don't either. And that's okay. And, like, yeah, and I get that. So, like, who knows? Who knows? But I am grateful. I'm grateful for, like, what they have done for me in my life. And, like, everything I have been given. Yeah, just so that's said, because the BPD ego tends to, yeah, just so that's said, like, deep down, I do feel, like, grateful. And I know I'm not entitled to nothing, and the world don't owe me shit, and my parents don't owe me shit, and I don't know the world shit, and I don't know my parents anything, and I don't know anybody else anything either. And, like, It goes both ways. But like, yeah. And yeah. And also, I've been reinforcing this shit in my head since I was like 10 as a way to like cope with reality. But like, yeah, like, dude, like, yeah. Okay, like, I'm like, I know, dude. Like, yeah. Be grateful for what you do have, even if it feels like you're missing something very crucial to being alive. Be grateful for what you do have, because it's all you have. Yeah, I've been telling myself that shit for a long time. And yeah. Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, basically the way that I understood this, right? The way that I understood kind of the transpirings, the happenings of this last year and everything that's happened since I moved back home, which is where I came from. Yeah. It was like, okay, I don't want to get into excruciating detail. This is just not necessary. However, in some cases, like some points, sure, maybe, but to give a bit of an overall, I've made one of these videos before, I called it Unity. And like, yeah, to give a bit of an overall. I moved from this place, from my parents' house, to this apartment in Kent. It was last August 8th, I think. 8th or the 3rd? 8, 3, 11, 2. Could be. 8, 8, 16, 7, throat, either. But yeah, yeah, and anyway. And, yeah. And I remember, like, the reason I had decided to do that, and the reason why I had decided to pick the place that I did, it was all very kind of like, I suppose, like, spur of the moment. Like, I knew I wanted to move out, and I had the savings built up to be able to. But it wasn't enough to be able to, like, do it completely on my own. I didn't think, anyway. It ended up not being the case indeed, but, like, yeah. Like, well, unfortunately. I wish it hadn't been, but yeah. Unfortunately. Hey, I'm gonna try again. So, yeah. Anyways. My fucking face got punched in. But yeah. Yeah. And my higher self had been guiding me because I had begun to, I had started like getting spiritual experiences again before I decided to move out. And before I started talking to Diego, before he like posted that fucking advertisement in the group chat, like, yo, look for a roommate. Yeah, before that, I had been getting connected to spirit again. And it happened, it all started like right after March. Yep. And yep, I had a big breakdown of my ego. And like, yeah. I went through a big ego death. Like a total ego death. To the point where like my heart got cracked open and all this. And yeah. It's happened before. And yeah. Yeah. And after that happened, I got connected to like, yeah, to consciousness, the self, my higher self, and to like me. For just about, it was like, there was this one moment in like, oh man, must have been like a little bit after March. Must have been, probably like March 12th, some shit like that. I don't know why that came to my head. Yeah, March 12th. I don't know, something like that. And yeah, like I had this experience. Like I was still working at Chick-fil-A, and I'm not gonna get too into it, but yeah, dude. And I had this one experience where like, yeah, I had to forgive somebody. It was like a time came for me to forgive somebody. Like I knew that that's what I kind of had to do. And once it was time for me to forgive this person that I love and loved, and yeah, who I felt like had hurt me a whole lot. I think a deeper part of me knew that like I had played a big part in it too. And so like I needed to let it go and to not like, because the way that I had been like, I was very upset and like hurt by the whole thing. And I was like, I guess, like, hanging on to the pain, and hanging on to the victim narrative, and hanging on to the it's all his fault and not mine at all narrative, kind of. And a deeper part of me knew that, like, it must be not quite like that. And so, like, yeah, essentially what happened was, it's weird to describe this. Like, I'm just speaking about this one point in time, I guess, now, but, like, yeah, fucking, yeah, something's digging through me, man. But, like, yeah, and, yeah, and, he texted me for the first time in, like, a minute. It had been, like, I don't know, like 2 weeks, a week, some shit, a minute since the breakup. And it was weird because, like, for, like, the whole first, like, it was, like, for, like, 2 hours or so before the text actually came through my phone. Like, myself had been preparing this for me internally, and, like, raising my vibration before I knew how to do that, and, like, getting me to that level of consciousness before I knew how to get there. Like, it was doing it for me. And yeah, I could feel like I was ascending to, like, this one state of consciousness, right, that I had never been in during, like, non-acid trippy contexts. It was like while I was actively delivering at Chick-fil-A. Like, yeah. And that was one of the first moments that I had ever seen. I took a picture because I could not believe how I was fucking feeling in that moment. Like, I could not believe it. I couldn't believe how I was feeling in that moment. Like, the state that my consciousness was at. Seemingly for no fucking reason. I didn't understand that I was gonna have to, like, a text was gonna come through and then I was gonna have to be forgiving, right? I didn't understand it. It was all happening prior to. And then this text comes through. And this self, it was Shiva. It was my first time, you know, not my first time, but I didn't recognize my face yet. I didn't recognize my face, and I also had barely felt what it's like to be in your own head, because I'd been living as if I was this perspective. Very rarely did I actually ever get to, many things, man, like, many things. And essentially, like, I took a picture because I couldn't believe how the fuck I was feeling in that moment, and I couldn't believe, like, the state that I was in. It was like I was walking around at work, and, like, people were looking at me fucking different, man. People were looking at me different. People were looking at me hecka different. People were, like, smiling at me and shit, like, making eye contact and, like, happy to see me. Like, I had an aura. And I took a picture of this when it was happening. Like, right after that text and right after, it might have even been, I don't remember when I took the picture. I could just tell I was feeling something man. It's like, yeah, something very real. And yeah. And so I took a picture of it, and the caption of the picture was just like, I am awake. Some shit like that. Yeah. It was, it was like, it was like at the time, the day, and the caption was, I'm having a full-blown spiritual experience at work right now. With my face. It was just like, yeah, I don't know. It was like that one, it was like the Shiva form with, like, the, like, yeah, that's, fucking, man, yeah, God, like, yeah, like, for real, like, it was one of those forms. Yeah, I can feel it. And so, anyways, just to say that for myself, that was before I ever went to Kent, okay? Like, that was way before I ever went to Kent. And I felt that. Okay? So, like, yeah. There's many more examples to give, but just for some fucking reassurance in case the gaslighting gets to me. Like, yeah. So then, once I started to get reconnected to this higher self, that was one of the first moments during last year, that I began to get reconnected with that higher self. And it essentially led me in the direction of becoming independent. So it wanted me to save. It wanted me to save money, to build a foundation up for myself, because it's the main like crux of the power struggle in this place. That's the biggest thing that keeps me stuck here, is the monetary power leveraging and struggle that goes along with addictions, temptations, being broken down, submitting to addictions, and needing money in order to be able to just make my own decisions like that. And like constantly oscillating between feeling like I'm stuck and lost in negative emotion constantly, need the addictions to continue, need to spend money on the addictions to continue feeling all right, or save the money for the future, which is the hardest thing to do out of all of this, especially considering the depth of the pain that it can get to sometimes, especially considering the lack of will to live that you feel like most of the time. So, here, when you're in states like this, because like, yeah, I'm trying not to be accusatory, okay? I'm not blaming any one person. I'm just saying, like, like when I happen to be here doing it, when I happen to be here doing it, it seemed to be happening, bro. And, like, yeah. And so I had to like make that decision to save, and so I did. And the whole time I was deciding to do the hard thing, like to stop avoiding whatever the hard thing but healthy thing would be to do. Like, yeah, I had to make that decision to stop doing the unhealthy thing and to do the hard thing that's good for my future instead. And I hadn't been doing this for a long time, for like 2018, 2019, 2020 was the beginning. 2019 was the beginning, late 2019, right when COVID, like, yeah. And after my birthday, remember that memory that I was describing, bro? That was on my 21st, or that's something dug out of me, dude. Yeah, from last video, the one with the thing that's in me knows. Yeah, that was on my 21st birthday. Like, oh, man. I had a bottle of vodka in my car. And like, pretty dang sure. 2019 plus 2, 21. I was born in 98. It's like, yeah. Shit, dog. Fucking, yeah. And yeah, and it went from there to one of the best years I've ever had in my entire life. So like, is Wave. But yeah. And yeah, so then, after I had accumulated a bit of a foundation for myself, monetarily, I had begun practicing meditation because I had been going through a lot emotionally, both with what happened in March and late February, and right after Valentine's. yeah, I know, and yeah, right after that. And during the summer I felt great. During that summer I felt fucking great. I felt like me again. And I was alone. I that was the summer I decided to stop hanging out with friends. And I started to like pay attention to my parents again. And like I tried to heal our relationship a little. And like I was like trying to offer, yeah, like ways for us to connect. Like on a real, like in a real way, and not in, yeah, like some sneaky, behind the scenes, soul swap way, or soul theft way, like you. And yeah, I was trying to like foster a real healthy relationship with my parents. That's when I started watching Dr. K, learning how to meditate, and like, yeah, like actually taking healing seriously, especially after that breakup. Like, that smacked me in the face. It's like, yeah, it's like, damn, I fucked that one up. It's like, it's gotta be at least kind of me. Like, I gotta be the problem in some kind of way. And losing that, like, made me fucking snap into reality that I needed to heal in some kind of way. And so I started to put a lot of energy and attention into doing the right thing, to my conscience, and to like, yeah. And yeah. And that's how we lead up throughout that summer, the processings and the like, yeah, the summer after that forgiveness and like more connection to my higher self and like tastes like yeah. Each day I remember during that summer felt like it was building upon the last. Like it felt like I had found a way to not get fucked up in my sleep and to like actually my freaking perception got snagged out of my head. So like I'm trying to say two a lot, but like yeah, what's up yeah, like, and yeah, and yeah, we're basically just trying to find like me again, and so yeah, like yeah, and yeah, after I had done that and after I had begun practicing and like orienting myself towards like growth and towards like actually like healing and not just perpetuating patterns, right? Which it's not about being perfect, but some of the ones that have been causing me as well as people in my life like hardship, things like borderline personality disorder. I knew I needed therapy essentially. I needed therapy and I needed to get out of here. Like I need to get out of here. That's what I knew I needed in order to heal. At least that's what I like. I didn't know for sure, you know, but like it seemed to have worked too. So yeah, but yeah, and at least for a little bit. But no, we're definitely in a better state now than we were then. But yeah, at the very least, like from where I was at last year. Yeah. And so yeah. Me. Okay. Stop taking me. Sorry, I'm pulling myself back out of this umbilical cord real quick. Yeah. So once I got to Kent, and once I actually like, you know, started like trying to acclimate to the shift, there was a few things that I noticed right off the bat. There was a few things that I noticed once I moved out that I did not think were going to be the case, but ended up being the case. One of them was that a lot of the problems that I had were in me. It's like they went with me. They went with me when I moved out. And this was hard for me. Like, that one was harder for me. Because